Chapter 10 Choice Between Two Different Futures. Before you read, human beings have been blessed with the most precious of gifts, that of the gift of life and the bounties of nature. Our greed, however, has made us take them for granted and create havoc with the environment. It is still not too late for us to redeem ourselves by doing what is right. All we need is the will to do so. Do you agree? The distinguished scientists with whom it is the greatest honor of my life to share this award have laid before us a choice between two different futures. A choice that to my ears echoes the words of an ancient prophet, life or death, blessings or curses. Therefore, choose life that both thou and they seed may live. Therefore, choose life that both thou and they seed may live. We, the human species, are confronting a planetary emergency, a threat to the survival of our civilization that is gathering ominous and destructive potential even as we gather here. But there is hopeful news as well. We have the ability to solve the crisis and avoid the worst, though not all, of its consequences, if we act boldly, decisively and quickly. So today, we dumped another 70 million tons of global warming pollution into the thin shell of atmosphere surrounding our planet, as if it were an open sewer. And tomorrow, we will dump a slightly larger amount, with the cumulative concentrations now trapping more and more heat from the sun. As a result, the earth has a fever, and the fever is rising. The experts have told us it is not a passing affiliation that will heal by itself. We asked for a second opinion, and a third, and a fourth, and the consistent conclusion resetted with increasing alarm is that something basic is wrong. We are what is wrong, and we must make it right. Last September 21, as the northern hemisphere tilted away from the sun, scientists reported with unprecedented distress that the North Polar ice cap is falling off a cliff. One study estimated that it could be completely gone during summer in less than 22 years. Another new study warns it could happen in as little as 7 years. In the last few months, it has been harder and harder to misinterpret the signs that our world is spinning out of kilter. Major cities in North and South America, Asia and Australia are nearly out of water due to massive droughts and melting glaciers. Desperate farmers are losing their livelihoods. People in the frozen Arctic and on low-lying Pacific islands are planning evacuations of places they have long called home. Climate refugees have migrated into areas already inhabited by people with different cultures, religions and traditions, increasing the potential for conflict. Stronger storms in the Pacific and Atlantic have threatened whole cities. Millions have been displaced by massive flooding in South Asia, Mexico, and 18 countries in Africa. As temperature extremes have increased, tens of thousands have lost their lives. We are risklessly burning and clearing our forests and driving more and more species into extinction. The herb web of life on which we depend is being ripped and frayed. We never intended to cause all this destruction, just as Alfred Nobel never intended that dynamite be used for waging war. He had hoped his invention would promote human progress. We shared that same worthy goal when we began burning massive quantities of coal, then oil and methane. Unlike most other forms of pollution, carbon dioxide is invisible, tasteless and odorless, which has helped keep the truth what it is doing to our climate out of sight and out of mind. Moreover, the catastrophe now threatening us is unprecedented and we often confuse the unprecedented with the improbable. We also find it hard to imagine making the massive changes that are now necessary to solve the crisis. And when large truths are genuinely convenient, whole societies can, at least for a time, ignore them. In the years since this prize was first awarded, the entire relationship between humankind and the earth has been radically transformed, and still we have remained largely oblivious to the impact of our cumulative actions. Indeed, without releasing it, we have begun to wage war on the earth itself. Now, we and the earth's climate are locked in a relationship familiar to war planners, mutually assured destruction. More than 2 decades ago, scientists calculated that nuclear war could throw so much debris and smoke into the air that it would block life-giving sunlight from our atmosphere, causing a nuclear winter. Their eloquent warnings here in Oslo helped galvanize the world's resolve to halt the nuclear arms race. Now science is warning us that if we do not quickly reduce the global warming pollution that is trapping so much of the heat our planet normally radiates back out of the atmosphere, we are in danger of creating a permanent carbon summer. We must quickly mobilize our civilization with the urgency and resolve that has previously been seen only when nations mobilize for war. These prior struggles for survival were won when leaders found words at the 11th hour that released a mighty surge of courage, hope and readiness to sacrifice for a protected and mortal challenge. These were not comforting and misleading assurances that the threat was not real or imminent, that it would affect others but not ourselves, that ordinary life might be lived even in the presence of extraordinary threat. The providence could be trusted to do for us what we would not do for ourselves. No, these were calls to come to the defense of the common future. They were calls upon the courage, generosity and strength of entire peoples, citizens of every class and condition who were ready to stand against the threat once asked to do so. Our enemies in those times calculated that free people would not rise to the challenge. They were, of course, catastrophically wrong. Now comes the threat of climate crisis, a threat that is real, rising, imminent and universal. Once again, it is the 11th hour. The penalties of ignoring this challenge are immense and growing, and at some near point would be unsustainable and unrecoverable. For now, we still have the power to choose our fate. And the remaining questions is only this: have we the will to act vigorously and in time, or will we remain imprisoned by a dangerous illusion? There is an African proverbs that says, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. We need to go far quickly. We must abandon the conceit that individual, isolated, private actions are the answer. They can and do help, but they will not take us far enough without collective action. That means adopting principles, values, law and treaties that release creativity and initiative at every level of society in multifold responses, originating concurrently and spontaneously. This new consciousness requires expanding the possibilities inherent in all humanity. The innovators who will devise a new way to harness the sun's energy for pennies and invent an engine that carbon negative may live in Lagos or Mumbai or Montevideo. We must ensure that entrepreneurs and inventors everywhere on the globe have the chance to change the world. These are the last few years of decision, but they can be the first years of a bright and hopeful future if we do what we must. No one should believe a solution will be found without effort, without cost, without change. Let us acknowledge that if we wish to redeem squandered time and speak again with moral authority, then these are the hard truths. The way ahead is difficult. The outer boundary of what we currently believe is feasible is still far short of what we actually must do. Moreover, between here and there, across the unknown, falls the shadow. We have everything we need to get started, save perhaps political will, but political will is a renewable resource. So, let us renew it and say together, we have a purpose. We are many. For this purpose, we will rise and we will act. Complete the following sentences. Of many worlds in this world. Before you read, we must never think of the world as ours for the taking, but rather think of it as belonging to all. We tend to believe that we are more important than others, which is indeed a folly on our part. The world belongs to others as much as it does to us. We just need to learn to appreciate our world more. Just like as in a nest of boxes round, degrees of sizes in each box are found. So, in this world, may many others be, thinner and less still by degree, although they are not subject to our sense. A world may be no bigger than 2 pence. Nature is curious, and such works may shape, which our dull senses easily escape. For creatures small as atoms, may there be, if everyone a creature's figure bear. If atoms pour, a world can make, then see what several words might in an earring be. For millions of those atoms may be in the head of one small, little, single pin. And if thus small, then ladies may well wear a world of worlds as pendants in each ear. Summary. The central idea of this poem is that every world contains many smaller worlds within itself, and those worlds further contain even smaller worlds within themselves. The poem starts with a comparison of our world to be a nest of boxes, where various sizes of boxes are found within each other. Some worlds can be so small that humans might not even sense their presence, but that doesn't mean they are not worth understanding. Nature is defined as curious in that it has shaped many such worlds, but our senses are too dull to take notice of them. Cavendish also cites the instance of atoms. The poet explains that if 4 atoms can make up a world, then a number of worlds might be prevailing in an earring or a piece of jewelry. She further states that if millions of those atoms can be found in the head of a single pin, then a lady might as well be wearing a world of worlds as a piece of jewelry in each ear. Chapter 11.